Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of tips and insights into the pre-loved industry and, in my opinion, what are smarter long-term buys. This is not really anything to do with pricing necessarily, but these are pieces that have a variety of characteristics that just make them just a better buy long-term, I guess. For lack of a better word. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Katherine, and I've worked in the pre-loved luxury resale industry for about 5 years now. Over the years, I've learned a lot about the market and about the way that people react to things. So these tips are not all necessarily having to do with like resale value itself, although that is a very big part of it. Just general longevity and how to get the most out of your luxury goods. So if that is something that you want to see more of, I do this every week and I'd love to have you back. So please hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell icon next to it so you can be notified every time that I upload. Okay, so the first thing to consider is that when you get a bag that is like super duper mini, it may become obsolete at some point in your life. When I buy a handbag, I want to make sure that it's something that, for the best of my ability, I'll be able to use and carry for many years to come. And a lot of the time when I've purchased like really tiny little mini bags, a bag that is too small could end up becoming obsolete potentially. When it comes time to like actually carry it on an evening out, the fact that it just doesn't have that much of a capacity on the inside means that I can't hold my umbrella. So it's just there really are a lot of conditions that this really is a conditional bag, I guess. A number of bags that I had in the past that worked really well until I bought like my pochette clay or my mini pochette or my agenda or other things, and generally speaking, it's a little bit better to go for a slightly larger bag if possible. That way there is like more variety of what you can carry, and that means that you'll be able to use it in many different settings. Now, the next thing to take under consideration is the opening of a bag. This is the Gucci 1973, and as you can see, it tapers slightly narrow towards the top. When handbags have a very narrow opening, that limits what you're able to fit in on the inside. See, it has a very narrow opening, and then it wings outward towards the bottom. I would much prefer if a bag were to wing outward rather than taper inward, because that way you're able to fit more stuff inside of it. This is my iPhone 6S as compared with my iPhone 10, and as you can see, it is a little bit wider and taller. This bag, I believe, is from 2014 or so. Back in 2014, I believe the iPhone 4 was what we were using. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which was a much thinner phone. So this phone, which is the 6S, once again, was able to fit, but it was not, you know, the best fit out there. But then when I eventually did upgrade to a 10, which is a larger phone, it is a lot harder to put it inside. I mean, it fits. It does get inside, but it just, once there was an iPhone 4 that I had and I put inside of here, and the iPhone 4 was exactly the width to reach in and grab this easily. That just goes to say that handbag designers are generally taking into account what we are going to be carrying inside of the bag when they do the dimensions and things like that. And it's really hard to prepare a zipper opening or a handbag opening for a bag that doesn't exist yet. So it's definitely something to take into account to make a smarter buy in the long term. I would avoid or steer clear of bags that have a very narrow, mini bags especially, that have a very narrow opening. And this bag right here, the Givenchy Antigona Mini, this bag wings slightly outward, meaning that the opening is wider than the base, which in turn means that you're able to fit larger items inside of it. Okay, next, be wary of creased or pleated canvas. And I'm looking specifically at Louis Vuitton. What can happen when the canvas is creased or pleated in this way? There is a much higher risk that the canvas could crack or chip. So be very, very careful when you are shopping for handbags that have that pleating, especially around the corners. I would personally want to avoid this. I would want to stay away from it. There was a point where I really wanted to get the Louis Vuitton Palace bag, but if you look at the sides, it is sort of like folded over, and that is a crack or a scuff away. That is one scuff away from cracking completely because it's not very well reinforced. Canvas is sort of strained when you fold it like that and you keep it like that for many, many years. So I would avoid Louis Vuitton canvas that is creased or pleated. So next is a shopping tip, and this is so, so important. I can't stress this enough. When you are going to shop for a handbag, when you're going to try on a handbag, first of all, I would recommend going in multiple times to look at it as best as you can. I know that availability has become a really big issue lately, but as best as you can, go in to a store to try out a bag. Or watch all of the YouTube videos about it that you can find. But another thing that I do want to stress is that when you do, I know it's not always convenient to go shopping carrying all of your things with you, but that is exactly what you should do. Anything that you would anticipate carrying with you inside of the bag that you're shopping for, you should bring with you. You should bring with you while you're shopping for it. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, but I know that it is kind of inconvenient to walk around carrying a giant laptop and iPad and briefcases and files, etc. One thing you can do is just bring like a manila folder, just a regular manila folder with you, just so you just sort of get a size reference for whatever bag it is that you're shopping for. Another thing is that I like to know, for me, my standard, my size standard is an iPad, and most of the luxury boutiques will have iPads available for you to test out, for you to use to test out the bags. Obviously, that's not their purpose. Their purpose, it's not why they have them there, but if you ask your sales associate, they more than likely will get one of the company iPads and help you by putting it inside of the bag to seeing how it fits. Also, it's totally okay to be that crazy person to show up with a tape measure. I've done it and I have no regrets. Okay, so with larger bags, I would always recommend searching for larger bag options that have a shoulder strap or a shoulder strap available, or a shoulder strap that can be added to it. Just generally speaking, unless you really are like a die-hard top handle, crook of your arm carry person, I would personally like steer away from getting a top handle only bag. There's gonna come a point where you may likely decide that the bag is too heavy and you would rather carry it on your shoulder, because that is, like, we can't lie, it's so much more comfortable than carrying a huge heavy bag like this. I just want to be able to at least have it as an option. I like to buy bags that have detachable shoulder straps. And what you'll notice is that resale value of handbags tends to be much lower when it's a larger size or heavier bag that is top handle only. Obviously, this excludes the Birkin. Obviously, okay. For example, if you were to look at the Celine mini luggage versus the nano luggage, or even the YSL sac de jour in the small compared to the medium or large sizes, the resale value is hugely different. But all of those bags are beautiful bags, but the sizes that do have a shoulder strap do tend to resell much higher than the ones without. And another note about straps is that I love buying bags that have detachable ones. For example, this is the Louis Vuitton Estrella in the, I think this is the medium size. It comes with a detachable shoulder strap, and I'm able to put it on to a number of my other bags. You guys know I have the Louis Vuitton St. Cloud that I use with the monogram canvas strap. If I want to go back to like sort of like the more classic silhouette of this bag, then I can put this strap on here, and that just gives me another option. So these shoulder straps I like to mix and match on many different bags. Another bag that I love is this one up here. The black marble one is the Balenciaga Ladis. It came with this strap, and I love adding it to some of my other ones. For example, the Givenchy Antigona, as well as my Gucci Marmont. I think that potentially being able to dress up another bag and give it a completely different look and vibe is something that cannot be beat. Okay, And my last thing to take into account when you are shopping for a handbag is this is something I've noticed lately that designers seem to be really pushing for some reason, and that's like a million little compartments inside of a medium to large size bag. And I don't get it. I'll leave you some pictures of examples of here what I'm talking about. There are just a lot of bags out there that are, you know, maybe medium size and be like, you know, yay big, maybe about, you know, this big. And you see them and they look nice and they look, you know, like pretty, you know, larger size bags, and then you just look and you see just all of these dividers inside of it, and it looks like a file cabinet on the inside. Once, especially when it comes down to the resale market, just things like that that are just very specific and not so convenient. People do tend to prefer convenience and have a bag fit their lifestyle, and it is very difficult to find a person looking for a bag that's this size that can only that's this size but can only fit a lipstick and your keys, because, you know, there's all these compartments on the inside. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. Don't get me wrong, organization is a great thing to have inside of a handbag and I really do appreciate it, but it can't be organization at the expense of, you know, actually being able to put things inside of your handbag. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on tips for smarter long-term buys. These are basically ways of picking and choosing which items to add to your collection, just things that just generally have longevity and will have higher demand when it does come, when you do decide to resell. But the best thing you can do is pick something you're not going to want to resell. So hopefully all these tips were helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, I have many years of experience in this industry, and I hope that these tips were helpful. So that's all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!